more familiar sounding stuff to put in the intros for these streams, and it will actually get even more familiar when we're actually making something later on if we bust out Power Query for something along those lines. What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay, and I am exhausted. Did a lot of running around, although the extra cardio from the running around at the job now is starting to have an impact. So now we're at the point where after like 7-8 hours or so, I'm still zipping around on the concrete. So progress in terms of getting back into the swing of things since Project EVTO, as well as the job getting more physical and doubling as exercise a lot better than it did before. Even though I was doing a lot of like dealing with furniture and stuff, it's just, you can't really get away from the importance of cardio. It's not something you get over with in order to get to some strength training when you're exercising. It's just cardio can give you energy that is better than caffeine if you play your cards right. Or maybe I'm just that out of shape that actually moving around a bit feels amazing despite my age. Whereas when I was younger, it was like, oh, this is tiring me all out. Darn it, can I go play video games? So, I don't know. We all got to take care of ourselves. You only get one you, so to speak. So take care of yourself, darn it. All right, so Streamlabs, Stream Hatchet, Quarterlies were a thing on this channel until I thought that they were no longer a thing because of the Streamlabs scandals late last year. That turned out to be false. Streamlabs has basically, they moved the Quarterlies from their blog, which I was feverishly checking, like, where's the Quarterly? Where's the Quarterly? Where's the Quarterly? They now have a creator resource hub that has these things. So on January 28th, 2022, they posted the Streamlabs Stream Hatchet Q4 2021 industry report. And then on May the 4th be with you, not too long ago actually, they posted Q1 2022, the one for Q1 of 2022. So we're actually going to catch up on a few things and also bust out Excel mode, and we'll plug these numbers in and see the industry ratios and things along those lines. Something extremely important to talk about, though, with regards to the Streamlabs Stream Hatchet Quarterlies. Besides the scandals and everything that might have affected Streamlabs, mostly probably in Q4 last year, with the whole thing about, some, asset permissions and could people cancel their business accounts and whatnot. That was a whole thing towards the end of last year. I don't know if that really affected the numbers all that much in terms of what got recorded or the data or anything of that sort. But the other thing to remember, is that these numbers, they're fun to nerd out on, but it's not everything. There's a couple of quirks you have to know with regards to YouTube versus Facebook versus Twitch to really understand what's going on here. Like YouTube, for example, is more popular as a streaming platform in parts of the world where a mobile device is we get this from the Stream Hatchet maps, in their own reports. But YouTube, for example, is a more popular streaming platform in parts of the world where a mobile device is your main way of accessing the internet. And then Facebook has basically gobbled up market share and dominated as a streaming platform in markets where YouTube and Twitch weren't already established. So it's your classic thing where whoever's late to the party, has to go for the markets that haven't yet been taken over yet. I think there might be some like historical simulation games that are like this too, where you have History of the World used to be one that I used to play on tabletop, where you would get victory points with your various empires throughout history, depending on whether you had a presence somewhere, you dominated somewhere, as in you had more units than everybody else, or you completely controlled blah, blah, blah. So it's always interesting when we got to the Romans and then the collapse of the Roman Empire in the next turn. But that's another story altogether. Let's take a look at some reports here. It is late night nerd lounge time. Let's pick up where we left off and let's bust out the Excel, and we will bust in some numbers with some Power Query here. But first, late night nerd lounge. Let's nerd it up with some Stream Beats synthwave for tonight. How about something else? Maybe we won't, I don't know. Let's get to it, shall we? Streamlabs and Stream Hatchet Q4 key takeaways. At the end of 2021, hold on a second. January 28th 2022 is when it posted. Do I even have something here? Wait a minute. Viewers watch 27.9. No, I don't. I do not have a Q4 report. This is 2020 that I loaded up here. Q1 2022 is in here, but where the heck is... We're going to have to change the description here. Read more by Ethan May. Let's see here. He does the quarterlies, right? So we have one for Q1 2022. Let's just go back a bit. Was there one for Q4? Because the one that I'm seeing... Might as well just play the music. Let's see here. Let's just look for it. Q4 2021. Because the one that actually came up was for... let's see. It was actually the one for 2020. Viewers watched 12 billion more hours of content in 2020 than 2019. No wonder the numbers looked so weird. Does that mean the numbers are going to skip a quarter? Hold on a second. Home, Creator Resource Hub. See, Streamlabs, Stream Hatchet. That was Q4 20. Did I just post that on? I did. All right, let's just look for live streaming industry reports on here. Please don't show the source code. Live streaming industry reports. Yeah, so there's one for 2022. All right, let's see here. Is there one for... Looks like they tried to come back. So does this combine together? No, does this combine together the numbers then? Oh, but there are Q4. So there are Q4. Oh, there's Q4 numbers that are embedded in this report. So I don't know. I don't know if there was some kind of Streamlabs redesign or something along those lines. What the heck? So get the drinks ready. There we go. Create a resource hub. So hold on a second. What did I post on Twitter earlier? Did I post the 2020 report? Probably. Yeah, 2020, then 2019. All right, let's just delete the tweet then. You know, let's just delete the tweet. Less clutter on the overly cluttered original Twitter that is soon to be retired. And let's take a look at some of this here. So streaming, live streaming industry report. What categories is that under? Let's see this. So, all right, Q2 2019 here. Let's do streaming and news. Well, let's see if they have it here. So Q1 2022 is in here. This thing for VTubers and other stuff. There is no Q4. It goes back to Q3. All right. Well, I would understand that. So, but the good news is that the first quarter of 2021 has the numbers for Q4 in it. Let me just double check this for a second here. 1st of January to March of 2022. All right, this makes more sense because the other thing was saying that Twitch was growing. And no, I know that Twitch is in the skids right now. Or maybe it's not reflected in this. Maybe it's not reflected in this report yet because of that. All right, let's see here. Let's just take a look at some of these things here. Wow. But there are Q4 numbers in here, so we can punch these numbers in. We just got to take them off the reports and stuff. All right, let's see here. Well, here's the one that matters. Let me change the description of this. Let me change the description of the stream to remove that one that is bogus. It's actually that was actually Q4 of 2020. So no wonder nothing made sense, because I know full well that Twitch does not have any growth going on right now. They've actually eliminated their viewership gains from 2021, and now they're back to Q4 2020 numbers in terms of the average concurrent viewers across the entire platform. Twitch is in the skids right now, but let's see. Move a few things. See here. This is the report, but we're going to just kind of read it for now. And we're not going to show it on screen here. Check it out. Check the link in the description to bring it up for yourself. Now, it's time to do some I told you so's with this thing from Ethan May here. The market for live streaming appears to be slowing down. I'm not roboting, am I? Some I told you so. Good. While stats for Twitch are higher than the previous quarter, platforms like YouTube Gaming and Facebook Gaming have seen a slight decrease in viewership. Overall, compared to this time last year, the industry is seeing a decline in hours watched, hours streamed, average concurrent viewers, and unique channels. Yeah, well, of course. I think Twitch is headed towards a shakeout where smaller channels are going to shut down. But Twitch is in the skids, though. This is what? January, February? Oh, this is January, February, March that we're talking about here. Where did we see Twitch go into the skids? Look, give me the Gnome 365 here. And let me just back up the data to 2019. Get some 2019 in there so we can see the jump. All right. Switch off here. So here's Twitch being in the skids here. And we could actually just we could actually make the image bigger. All right. Here's what I mean by Twitch being in the skids. 2019, the pandemic lockdowns happen. 2020 is great going into 2021. Right now, at about 2.5 mil, they're hanging out around where they were at the end of 2020 going into 2021. Everything above this dotted line right here is the gains they had in 2021, which they have lost. They're now floating around this dotted line again, just like they were back in 2020. So let me see here. January, February. Oh, so everything started going into the skids after this quarter. We will probably see what's going on with this reflected in the one for Q2. What are our volume levels like for this? We have 5% on that? Okay, good. All right, let's do this. So yeah, Twitch is in the skids as a platform, but it just started this quarter. Let's see here. This report attributes the decline to a few factors. The COVID-19 pandemic is winding down in many parts of the world, the bursting bubble, and people are returning to work and school, the bursting bubble, which leaves less time for leisure activities like live streaming, the bursting bubble. YouTube videos are going to be affected by this too, so. The global economic situation is still uncertain, and many people are cutting back on spending, which includes spending on live streaming platforms and services. There is a growing number of options for entertainment and gaming, including new live streaming platforms like Trovo, which may be siphoning off some viewers from the established platforms. Yeah, but Trovo is kind of like a small sucking sound, so to speak, if it's siphoning viewers. Trovo, you can actually look at streams charts and other data folks over on Twitter who share data on Twitter, and they show like the largest streamers on all the platforms. Trovo is a joke. The numbers for the biggest streamers on Trovo are on par with the largest streamers on Facebook, and maybe even smaller than that. I mean, you might as well be talking about DLive. Hey, speaking of DLive, weren't they bought out by the company that owns BitTorrent, and they were supposed to be rebranded as BitTorrent X? Did that ever happen? I mean, that was like one of the biggest jokes I told in 2020. It's like BitTorrent X. All right, let's see here. The question now is whether this is a temporary dip or the start of a more permanent trend. Continue reading for additional insights from the report. So, I think it is a more permanent trend. Let's just say that right now. But the dip is not going to be like going back to 2019 numbers. There are people that have been introduced to online media for the first time in the 2020 lockdowns and the pandemic and everything the pandemic has done. These people are not going back. They just might be watching on their phone or something. I do think, however, the people that were playing with content creation are going to get caught up in a shakeout effect. For those of you unfamiliar with business stuff, a shakeout is when a market starts to decline a bit and the weaker players in the market essentially have to close up shop. So this is where with content creation, you're going to see people with smaller channels, maybe even some of the smaller big streamers, if that's even a thing, hang it up or move away from streaming so much. Because bottom line, the bubble has burst. There are going to be some people who fall below a certain critical mass of dollars or whatever, or anything of that sort. You know, the Bluetooth keyboard, so I thought I moved it or something. Yeah, but there's going to be people falling below that critical mass level, and they're going to be having to close up shop here. Or they'll just be like, oh, I'm done. So we'll just have to see who it is. Key takeaways, all platforms are seeing a decline in growth compared to this time last year. Twitch is the only platform to experience growth compared to the previous quarter, but it went into the skids afterwards. We know from the numbers on Gnome. Just chatting is Twitch's most watched category. Total hours watched across all platforms is stagnant versus the previous quarter, year over year. Total hours watched across all platforms decreased by 8%. So just the bursting pandemic bubble. Now let's see how everything hammers out between all the platforms. Here's the pie charts for this quarter. The ones I really like, the ones I like the most, but I can't get them both on there because of Winamp. Total hours watched in Q1, Twitch, 76%. YouTube and Facebook have their slivers of the pie, so to speak, but then when we look at total hours streamed, we see the problem that Twitch always has. Everybody wants to be a streamer on Twitch, the classic talented version. And Twitch, by the way, is rolling out more algorithms, so they want more discovery on their platform. Bottom line, if you get disgruntled with a streamer that you're already watching, Twitch doesn't want to lose you as a viewer. So it is absolutely incumbent upon Twitch as a business to introduce you to the streamer you like's potential replacements. So 91% of hours streamed versus 76% of hours watched in Q1. We're going to pick up the Q4 numbers as we progress through this and punch them into the spreadsheets. Well, let's see. July, August, September, There's some top games and things like that. Twitch. Let's go back to reading this stuff. Twitch has seen its first uptick in hours watched since Q2 2021. So yeah, Twitch was in the skids for a bit there, but they're probably going to be in the skids again with Q2 2022 because we know that things drop January, February, March, etc. While pinpointing the exact cause of this growth is difficult, it's worth noting the platform is making a number of changes designed to appeal to a wider range of users. Long night, man. Twitch streaming returned to the Xbox dashboard. Amazon Luna includes Twitch integration for things like one-click broadcasting. Let's see here. Cutie Cinderella and the Streamer Awards has been mentioned here, but we know that's a flash in a pan. Twitch rivals Fortnite Streamer Bowl have also boosted the platform's popularity. And, of course, there is some streaming going on that is in reaction to what's going on in Ukraine. So, let's see. Looking ahead, it's hard to say for sure if Twitch will continue to grow given the industry's overall downward trend. However, it does seem likely the platform will remain strong as more and more content creators continue to join the streaming community. Let's go back to the pie charts and let's talk about something incredibly important with them. I look at this from a perspective of a content creator, but as a viewer, Twitch having all of these people streaming to smaller audiences and the worst audience ratio in the industry is actually a very good thing for you as a viewer. It means if you poke around Twitch, the odds are you're going to find someone to watch, as opposed to YouTube where the UI is going to get in your way, things along those lines. YouTube, of course, I say for streaming right now, their starting point, especially as they roll out features over here like gifted memberships and stuff, as well as live redirects being used as a pseudo raid feature. PSEUDO, not the Linux command. But yeah, so over here, you basically have to know the YouTuber first and then catch a live stream. And even so, there just isn't enough critical mass for YouTube as a streaming platform outside of things like wildlife cams or things like that. There really isn't enough critical mass on YouTube to where you can really find someone to watch all the time. So, of course, you have things like the VOD culture that's growing on here. And of course, you go over to various games directories in the rather buried YouTube gaming directory that takes too many clicks to get to. You'll often see the live streams being mixed in with recent videos or stream replays just to have a full directory. So YouTube gaming does not have the critical mass of Twitch. So it might be harder to find a stream to watch just by virtue of the size difference. And then there's Facebook. So with Facebook, you got to remember, this is all languages combined together that constitute 10% of hours watched and 5% of hours streamed. We said Facebook gaming was going down the path of Mixer. Too many streamers, not enough audience is a smaller version of what Twitch has. But if you go over to Facebook gaming, make sure you set your filters to your language, because a lot of these numbers that get thrown around about, oh, Facebook gaming's doing fine. Yeah, well, that's for all languages combined together. And there are some other languages besides English out there that have high amounts of Facebook gaming streamers because Facebook has become popular in parts of the world where Twitch and YouTube aren't already the dominant streaming platform. So see what I mean here? Now you got to compare like US English or Spanish or whatever you speak for each individual platform instead of just looking at the numbers. So now let's get our Excel ready to go because we have hours watched for Twitch. The data may not be in the pie charts for Q4, but we see this, where after the Q2 surge, we see it drop down to this and then go up to 6.129. Total hours streamed tanked in Q4, and then there's some more stuff going on here. Then there's unique channels, etc., etc. Let's read the rest of these write-ups for the other two major platforms. For YouTube Gaming has experienced its lowest number of hours watched since Q1 2020. While we've seen this downward trend across all platforms, the decrease may be partially attributed, here we go, to the loss of Ryan Wyatt, aka Fwiz, YouTube's head of gaming. 3 months ago, Ryan announced he'll enter the Web3 space as the CEO of Polygon Technology Studios. While we can't say for sure, it's possible that the change in leadership contributed to YouTube Gaming's decline in Q1. Not to say the platform isn't innovating. In February, YouTube announced its commitment to the metaverse. In a blog post, the company briefly explained they're looking to bring more immersive experiences to gaming. What they said, well, the first area in which you can expect to see an impact is gaming. We'll work to bring more interactions to games to make them feel more alive. So let's see here. Metaverse. Weird that it would be YouTube talking about this and not Facebook. Let's see. They're also buying talent like Sykkuno, etc. Valkyrie re-signed as well. All right. So yeah, YouTube is serious about streaming, but they have to get their stuff together in order to make progress on it. As evidenced by total hours watched per quarter. Down in the dumps. A little boost around the end of the year, but total hours streamed. Also down in the dumps. I'll bet none of those noises made it through the noise filters. Live channels dropping as well. And even concurrent viewers are kind of stumbling in that area too. Let's see here. Facebook. It wasn't long ago Facebook Gaming was the only platform experiencing growth. While we are seeing a decrease in hours watched, streamed, and unique channels this quarter, Facebook Gaming continues to build new tools and features to attract streamers back to their platform. According to a spokesperson from the company, live gaming video also continues to be a priority for us. This quarter, we've implemented several improvements to how we detect and mitigate non-gaming content on our gaming services. We're taking a very proactive approach to limiting the distribution. So it's Twitch all over again. This is part of what the initial thing was with Twitch, is that people were streaming stuff that wasn't gameplay. And that's where they had to introduce things like social eating and eventually, the expansion categories and stuff. So Facebook is basically Twitch 10 years ago. Come on, Facebook. Let's see here. While this has resulted in a reduction of total reported live watch time, it's an important step to ensuring anyone who comes into Facebook Gaming is met with the best experience possible. Well, you know what also needs to be looked at by both of these alternative streaming platforms here? Problems with false categories in the directories. So people that say they're playing Elder Scrolls Online that aren't actually playing Elder Scrolls Online, and they just haven't changed their stream description and stuff like that. But that's the sort of thing that needs, and Facebook has this too, more so than YouTube. So they definitely have to take a look at that, deal with this, and get everything a little bit more, in line and stuff. Get everything so where it's accurate. In February, Facebook Gaming introduced Reels. Between TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels, short-form video content is exploding in popularity. It's clear Facebook recognizes the opportunity for short videos to boost engagement and drive growth in the platform. They expanded streamer fan group access to level up creators, initially launched in June to partnered creators, stream fan groups, and designed to help increase engagement and growth, improve community communication, play with others, etc. And the hours watched. So there were problems with bad traffic on Facebook. They have undone years of progress. The pandemic bubble, if they go any lower, the pandemic bubble is over. Remember, the lockdowns happened around Q2 of 2020. if Facebook Gaming syncs anymore, they have erased their viewership gains from the pandemic. Q2 2022. Save the date for when the next one of these comes out. Yikes. Hours streamed. People are abandoning the platform as well, but as you can see, total hours watched is the real killer here. Q2 2020, they get to 830 mil. They're down to 803 now. Reverse the digits. So if they go any lower, their progress is gone from what they got during the pandemic. So total hours streamed. This is actually a little bit higher than Q2 2020, so they're turning into Twitch. We'll have to see what their ratio is for this type of stuff. Ratio. And look at that concurrent viewership, too. Remember, Q2 2020. Q2 2020 is when the pandemic lockdowns hit. Below whatever it was Q2 2020, they've erased their gains. So I'm talking about Twitch having erased their gains from 2021 and that being a bad thing. Facebook, if they sink any lower, has erased their gains from the entire pandemic since the lockdowns happened. I don't know. Maybe I'll stay away. Maybe I won't do anything on Facebook. It's just... I want Facebook Gaming to exist, though, as a proper competitor, so that way YouTube and Twitch don't get complacent. But anyways, let's go over to Excel mode, and let's put everything together. Is everything here? Yep. All right. Let's enter in the Q4 numbers first for everything, and then we'll take a look at these ratios here. Enter quarterly data here. So let's do... All right, let's do this. Q4 2021. All right, ready? Twitch. Twitch. Q4 2021. You know what? Why don't we just copy these? Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Ubook. The amalgamation of Twitch's competitors that don't have the stuffy exclusivity. So there's Q4 2021 with this. Now let's also make one of these for Q1 2022. Let's make this happen. Q1, no. Escape. Q1 2022. It's going to keep adding that up if I don't do this. My views on the streamer awards, by the way, are still the same. It just doubles down on the cool kids click over on Twitch. I don't think that's healthy for either the streamers or the viewers that watch them. All right, Q4 2021 Twitch hours watched. Get that on the screen, please, and we'll punch that in. We kind of have to get it the Skunkworks way by taking them off the chart, or taking them off the charts themselves. Twitch hours watched per quarter is 5703 versus 5787. So 5703. 5703, and let's go to their Q1 number. 6129. These are in millions. 6129. Hours streamed for Twitch. Hours streamed for Twitch. Darn microphone's having some pickup pattern problems. C. We did have a decimal for that. 204.7 for an industry ratio of 27. Now, their industry ratio has been going up. I got to make something that keeps an eye on the Sully Gnome data that can do this kind of stuff monthly. So that way we can keep an eye on these numbers as they progress. Right now, Twitch actually is heading towards an audience ratio of 30, which would indicate things are better than they usually are. All right, let's see. Twitch Q1 2022. 229 on the nose. Ratio of 26.76 and some numbers after it. Let's go to YouTube. YouTube total hours watched for YouTube gaming. Usually a 1 something. Q4 2021. 1216. I should really just make this larger. Just double check those Twitch numbers in case I messed up the because it's over on screen number 2. It's a little far away. 5703 and 6129. Good. Yeah, I'm going to be in and out of the microphone on this one. Okay, those are good. YouTube, total hours watched 1216 in millions in Q4 2021. 1129 for Q1 2022. Hours streamed 8.8 and 8.7. So we're looking at an audience ratio of 138 versus 129. The problem is that finding streams to watch on YouTube works differently. The algorithms are involved, obviously, but at the very same time, the other thing we got to remember is that if you express interest in watching streamers, eventually the algorithms populate the recommended panels with more live streams. But you actually have to take the initiative to make the system think that you actually want to watch live streams. And the thing is, this is something I'm seeing YouTube fall into as a pattern with regards to this kind of stuff, because YouTube needs to realize that people don't want to do extra steps to get something. If Twitch gives them streams up front and it takes less effort to watch a stream on Twitch than it does to watch that same stream on YouTube, then none of their features are going to matter. And the same thing too with the whole thing with live redirect, having to set it up in advance instead of just getting rated. If that's not easy to do and not a default setting for new streamers, then people aren't going to use it, and we're not going to see the creator-led discovery that this thing is supposed to encourage. All right, let's take a look at, let's go over to Facebook. Thinking of this with Valkyrie and the announcement that she re-signed with YouTube. I can't believe you guys thought it was going to go to Facebook. The way she said that was just comical. All right, let's type in these depressing numbers for Facebook. Hours watched. 1139 for Q4. 803 for Q1. So I guess there were folks messing with the traffic and stuff, huh? And then the two numbers for hours streamed are 14 and 12.5. Collapsing audience ratio. 81 something down to 64. But that's still double that of Twitch. But in terms of the numbers, YouTube is where, well, YouTube has other factors involved as well. All right, let's see here. For Q4, let's add in our thing here for YouTube plus Facebook for both of these. 2355 versus 2280 for a total ratio of 103. And then for this one equals YouTube plus Facebook. 1932, and then go over to here, 91. I don't know if uBook is really worth it, because that's kind of like a simulation of multi-streaming. It is pretty synthetic. So now I should be able to go run Power Query. We don't need the numbers open anymore. I should be able to just run Power Query right now and everything updates. But I think I have to select something. Quarterly data for display results by quarter, etc. That's from earlier. Quarterly for display, edit quarterly. I'll just refresh it. And then I think there's a drop down if I remember right. It's been 2 quarters since I've done this. This should update all the charts automatically. Now, there's just one more we have to do here. So there's the results stuff as is by quarter. I got YouTube on there for some reason. Where is the thing where... There it is. All right. So let's take a look at these for these things here. Let's refresh. Q4 is going to be smaller than usual. Refresh for Q4 2021. 27, 138, 81, and 103. Now let's do Q1 of 2022. Check those audience ratios out. Reload. 26, 129, 64, 91. There it is. All those people that are like, ratio. Audience ratio. Twitch versus YouTube. What did the numbers come out to for Q1? Twitch's watch versus YouTube's watched. 5.43 times the size. Twitch's stream versus YouTube's stream. So Twitch ends up with... This is for Q1, right? 26 versus 764. It's rounding. 129.8. Yeah, it's rounding it. All right. We can save this too. Oops. All right, we'll refresh the data and then we'll save it again. Refresh. Once that stops, save. Much better. Twitch's watch versus YouTube's watch, 5 times the size. On the stream side of thing, 26 and change times the hours streamed. To match YouTube's ratio, Twitch's hours watched would need to be 29,724 watch hours, meaning Twitch would need to be nearly 5 times the size of what it currently is. Just the strength of the brand. Once again, everybody wants to be a streamer. And if you're a viewer looking for somebody to watch, you have lots of choices in the game categories and the expansion categories. So not enough of an audience to support all the people that want to be Twitch streamers as usual. Versus uBook, I think this is irrelevant, and I'm probably not going to care about this too much, so we'll skip that. Matter of fact, why don't we just get this out of... I mean, this is Twitch essentially versus their competition. Why don't we actually just hide this tab and get rid of it? Okay, here's the growth of the audience for the Streamlabs Quarterlies hours watched over time. The dotted line is Mixer. So, rest in peace, Mixer. 106.2 is all they got to. Now, this is the growth of the audience. Keep in mind, Twitch went into the skids after Q1 ended, so I expect things to be a bit more negative in Q2 if there isn't some kind of turnaround. Here's the competition combined, and then we have red and blue down here. It doesn't look too bad for YouTube, but they definitely have done better. They definitely did better closer to the pandemic and stuff like that. Closer to the pandemic lockdowns. The creator-based growth, on the other hand, is the real story here. And we see, of course, Mixer. Their classic problem was they brought in streamers, then there was nobody to watch them before they shut down the service. So, and people seem to be giving up on YouTube at this point. They need a jolt of something. So I think the new features that have been announced are probably going to be huge for this kind of thing. But yeah, there's the creator base right there, dwarfed all to heck by Twitch being so huge. And then the ratios. There it is. It is what it is. There is one thing I'm going to do specific to this quarter. uBook is something we just hid the tab, so let's unhide Twitch versus uBook and delete it. I think that when it comes to comparing Twitch's competition versus Twitch, this uBook thing that exists is just too synthetic. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete all of it out of here. So goodbye, uBook. Synthetic. It was kind of an academic exercise. But what really matters for me, and I don't have to mess all these formulas. What really matters for me is, let's see here. What really matters for me is the major players in the industry. If we want to run extra numbers to try and be synthetic with that, we definitely can do that. Facebook fit. Can I just set it to uBook and then just delete those rows? Yeah, there we go. 2 uBooks left to delete. Get that out. Get that out. And refresh everything. uBook is gone. We're done with uBook. So long. Refresh. See what it looks like now. Let's see. Results by quarter. I just want to see the names of the platforms. I want the names of the platforms in here. I don't want any synthetic numbers anymore. I mean, it's just uBook it just doesn't. I mean, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook are going in different directions. Twitch is trying to hold on to its market share in the face of innovating competitors. YouTube is trying to pursue feature parity with Twitch, and I really don't know what Facebook is doing. They're in trouble anyways in terms of the hours watched. It's just the sort of if you build it, they will come thing. If you know there's no audience on a platform like Facebook, why would you try to become a serious streamer there? Other than like recreationally streaming games in addition, to your family or something. I don't know. I thought about streaming on Facebook for like friends and family. I don't know who would watch though. I'd like have one cousin that would tune in. So I would just use Facebook Live for that. I wouldn't bother with Facebook gaming. I don't want to be bothering my cousins. Hey, throw stars at me for like something. I also got to see if Facebook still has that, we're going to take a look and see if Facebook still has that restriction where you only do 720p until you get into the level up program. I mean, that's kind of what just brands Facebook as the newest of these three competitors here. That plus the polish of their video player here. Now, there's our creator base growth without that stupid U-book arrow. Doesn't really do very much. And then we have this. And this fundamentally is at the core of everything here. Just the ugly truth that Twitch has such a strong brand that everybody wants to be a Twitch streamer, but they can't bring in enough of an audience for everybody to have an audience. It's a kingmaker system for the most part. The people that are on top that have the critical mass want to ride the horse till it drops. It's that simple. That's a nice fade out also too for this song to coincide with finishing up with this file. Save. There it is. There it is, folks. I really got to put Excel mode in the corner of this scene here so that it might actually make a little more sense instead of, oh, look, blue gradients. Stuff along those lines. It was great to catch up on the Streamlabs, Stream Hatchet Quarterlies. I don't know this music thing since the microphone got its update and stuff like that. Less than an hour. Cool. But, I've actually been feeling rather tired with all the running around that I'm doing. This extra exercise that I'm getting and losing 10 pounds in a week or two from all the running around and, stuff like that has definitely had an impact on me in terms of energy. I want to play more games, though. One thing I do have to do, especially if I'm trying to save money, do a World of Warcraft stream with NVIDIA recommended stuff, like the 12 grand bit rate. I want to see if there's any way possible I can have a good looking stream. Otherwise, drop down a tier with broadband. Because this is 6 grand right now. YouTube's official bit rate maximum is 9 grand. NVIDIA recommends 12 grand for 1080p. But I don't really see, I really don't see the benefit from what I've seen after the processing is completed. We'll figure it out. As far as the part 4 of the tech video that we're working on, that'll be this weekend. It's got to be a weekend project. For now, though, I just want to relax. I'm basically in a situation where I'm getting more and more physical and getting more and more exercise. And as this continues, I just got to get used to it until we have the inevitable plateau when I am used to it. And the only way to move up from that is to go somewhere harder, which is something I am definitely looking at. Considering the completely silent chat tonight, let's just let this thing convert and be on our merry way. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.